This week's article of the week is called Scientists Discover How to Upload Knowledge to Your Brain. Let's make sure we read the instructions first. Complete all the questions and annotations. This requires reading of the article at least 3 times. Step 1. Listen to the article on Canvas and follow along on your paper copy. You're doing that right now. Step 2. Reread and annotate. You may use the dictionary on your computer to complete the annotations if you need to. Annotations are going to include numbering the paragraphs, there are 17, circle the title, underline each footnote, and circle a word within the article that corresponds with each definition. Make sure that you do that. Complete all of the annotations in the margins. Make sure that they're all complete. Step 3, answer the questions using evidence from the article to support your answers. Always go back to the text before you answer a question to find your evidence. That's one of the skills that we've talked a lot about already this year. Our rubric, your annotations are worth 40 points, your responses are worth 50, and punctuation in your complete sentences are worth 10. Scientists discover how to upload knowledge to your brain. Feeding knowledge directly into your brain, just like in sci-fi classic The Matrix, could soon take as much effort as falling asleep, scientists believe. Researchers claim to have developed a simulator which can feed information directly into a person's brain and teach them new skills in a shorter amount of time, comparing it to life imitating art. They believe it could be the first steps in developing advanced software that will make Matrix-style instant learning a reality. In the neo-noir sci-fi classic, protagonist Neo is able to learn Kung Fu in seconds after the martial art is uploaded straight to his brain. Researchers from HRL Laboratories based in California say they have found a way to amplify learning, only on a much smaller scale than seen in the Hollywood film. They studied the electric signals in the brain of a trained pilot and then fed the data into novice subjects as they learned to pilot an airplane in a realistic flight simulator. Make sure you look at the footnote at the bottom of the page. Neo-noir is a modern version of a 1940s or 50s crime movie. The study, published in the journal Frontiers in Human Neuroscience, found that subjects who received brain stimulation via electrode-embedded head caps improved their piloting abilities and learned the task 33% better than a placebo group. Our system is one of the first of its kind. It's a brain stimulation system, explained Dr. Matthew Phillips. It sounds kind of sci-fi, but there's large scientific basis for the development of our system. The specific task we were looking at was piloting an aircraft, which requires a synergy of both cognitive and motor performance. When you learn something, your brain physically changes. Connections are made and strengthened in a process called neuroplasticity. It turns out that certain functions of the brain, like speech and memory, are located in very specific regions of the brain, about the size of your pinky. Dr. Matthews believes that brain stimulation could eventually be implemented for tasks like learning to drive, exam preparation, and language learning. What our system does, it actually targets those changes to specific regions of the brain as you learn, he added. The method itself is actually quite old. In fact, the ancient Egyptians, 4,000 years ago, used electric fish to stimulate and reduce pain. Even Ben Franklin applied currents to his head, but the rigorous scientific investigation of these methods started in the early 2000s, and we're building on that research to target and personalize a stimulation in the most effective way possible. Your brain is going to be very different to my brain when we perform a task. What we found is brain stimulation seems to be particularly effective at actually improving learning. Make sure you look at these footnotes again at the bottom of the page, and remember the number corresponds to a word up in the passage. So number 2 says traveling through. Go back and find that word so you know the definition. Number 3 does not contain medication and does not have any effect. And number 4, combined effect. And those are again footnotes, and they correspond and match something in the passage. So go back and find those. At this point, make sure you go back, reread it on your own, and then complete the margin annotations that I've done for you. Look at the questions too. Your answers must be in complete sentences and include the paragraph number where you found the supporting evidence for your response. Make sure you restate the question in your response. So for example, let's look at number 1. It says, according to the article, what famous American is said to have used electrical brain stimulation? So you need to restate the question by saying, the famous American that used electrical brain stimulation was, and then give your response. And make sure you include the paragraph where you found that answer. Do that for each one of the questions. Now when you get down to question number 7, you're actually going to be writing a paragraph, okay? A full paragraph. Based on the evidence presented, what would be the one skill you would choose to have uploaded to your brain and why? Your response must be written as a paragraph. Describe in detail the skill you would want to upload, and then provide the reasons why you have chosen that skill. Indent the first sentence in your paragraph. You must have proper capitalization, punctuation, and spelling, so use your computer. If you would prefer to not write it on the lines, but prefer to go ahead and put it on a Google Doc, that's fine. You just need to let me know in advance, okay? All right, please make sure you take your time, go back and reread. Make sure you look at the bottom, okay? Look at all the directions. Happy reading.